Yes. You are wasting your life. Sounds heavy, right? But hold on, because this video isn't about sadness, it's about truly living. About stopping this habit of acting like the clock is going to wait for you to get everything in order first. It won't. It keeps ticking. Relentless, silent, and the truth? Most people realize this too late. 2 years ago, I learned this the hard way. I lost my dad. One of the greatest loves of my life. And it was only when he was gone that a brutal truth hit me: we live as if we have endless time. Until we realize we don't, and that's exactly why today's conversation is serious, but in the right way. Because, as strange as it may seem, thinking about death might just be the best way to truly appreciate life. Time doesn't pass, we are the ones passing through time. These were my father's words, and they made even more sense after he was gone. And they'll make sense to you the day you lose someone close, if you haven't already, because that's exactly how it is. We're here, trying to hold on to the days with our hands, but they slip away, and what we do in between, that's all we have. That's when something shifted inside me. That's when I started trying to understand, how do you truly live? Is there a way to make the most of this crazy game called life, without waiting for the right time that never actually comes? Maybe. There is, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about now, because there's a turning point, a way to hack the system, shift your perspective, and reclaim what really matters. And if you stick with me till the end, I promise, this reflection might just flip a switch inside you too. Come with me on this thought for a moment. Do you remember your childhood? Those long afternoons where you made up games with your friends in the backyard or out on the street? That little rush in your chest when you felt what it was like to fall in love for the first time, and yeah, the bittersweet sting when everything fell apart, maybe because of that hopeless crush. Like Julia, who barely looked at you during recess and now kinda looks like a propane tank. I get it. Sometimes we'd give anything to go back and relive those magical days. The so-called good old times. But here's the thing, back then, they were just regular days, just an ordinary Wednesday, laughing until your stomach hurt, eating melted ice cream on the sidewalk. Today, you look back and see magic. But are you seeing the beauty of now with the same tenderness? Have you ever stopped to think that, right this very moment, you might be living the phase you'll one day call the best time of my life? Are you truly living, or just counting down to the next holiday, the next paycheck bonus? The next promotion that might not even come? This video is more than just a vent, it's an invitation, a reminder that time doesn't ask for permission. And by the time we notice, it's already gone. It's hard to think about, but it's the truth. No one escapes the end, death doesn't make appointments, and it doesn't wait for us to pick out the perfect outfit. But hey, I'm not here to bring you down, quite the opposite, actually. I want to show you that remembering our own mortality might be the push you need to live with more presence, more intention, more truth. Have you ever wondered how your life would change if you knew exactly how much time you had left? Maybe you'd start seeing the present moment through a different lens. Because deep down, we already know, the end is there, and it's coming. But until it does, life is still here begging to be lived fully, right now, in this very moment. There's a secret most people haven't truly grasped: neither fear, nor bravery, nor even denial can change the outcome. The ending stays the same, no matter how we face it. But there is something that changes everything: respect for death. It won't alter the destination, but it completely transforms how we walk the path. When we embrace our finiteness, we start making choices with more presence, more depth, more intention, and that's what allows us to live a richer, more meaningful life. There's a powerful story that comes from the experience of Jane Turner, a caregiver who dedicated years of her life to accompanying people in their final days. During that time, she heard heartfelt confessions, deep regrets, the kind that only surface when time is running out. And you know what kept coming up in those conversations? The same phrases repeated through different faces and voices. I wish I had had the courage to live my own way, not the way others expected me to. I should have spent less time working so much. I wish I had spoken more about how I felt. I regret not keeping my friends close. It's a shame it took me so long to allow myself to be truly happy. See the irony? No one there regretted not closing more deals, gaining more followers, or spending more time scrolling through their phone. No one wished they had bought the latest smartphone model or won more video game matches. Because, let's be honest, social media feels like a time illusion, the only place in the world where 5 minutes somehow turn into 3 hours. And yet, you can't even remember what you saw. It's curious how we spend our whole lives chasing goals that, in the end, are nothing but smoke, like we're trying to win a board game. But in the end, all the pieces are packed away, and everyone ends up in the same place empty-handed. The big question is, what will you choose to live while the game is still being played? Because what truly remains, when everything else fades away, are the moments lived with honesty, the bonds you created, and the lightness of having been true to yourself. These regrets go beyond simple day-to-day decisions, they touch on the deeper aspects of our existence. They reflect the precious moments and emotional connections that we so often overlook while getting lost in the race for more success, more recognition, more money. It's not about the material achievements we fail to reach, but the authentic experiences we let slip away while chasing those external goals. So, pause for a moment and ask yourself, if today were the last day of your life, what would you regret? What would you wish you had done differently? If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be this: work with dedication, yes, but don't forget to fully enjoy life. Be present. Time spent doing things that make you happy or with people you love will never be time wasted. Remember an important lesson I learned from my dad: thinking about death helps us truly value life. It's not about fearing the end, it's about using that awareness to make decisions that truly matter before time, that most precious resource, runs out. Do you know what sound you're hearing right now? No, it's not the background track of this video, it's the sound of time passing, your time passing, while you're here, watching this. The clock is ticking, and you know what's even crazier? It doesn't wait, it doesn't pause, and it doesn't rewind. What if I told you that time is the most precious resource you have, and yet, you're letting it slip through your fingers, without even noticing? Time doesn't care about your plans, your excuses, or your big goals. It just keeps moving, second after second, as if it's saying, figure it out because I'm not stopping. Life is that space between being born and dying, and what we do with that time. That's what really matters. Now, hold on to this visualization from Dino Ambrosio. Imagine that every month of your life, from 18 to 90 years old, was represented by a single. Each row has 36 dots. That's 3 years. At first, it seems like an eternity, right? But here comes the plot twist. Out of all that time, 1/3 is spent sleeping. 216 months go to work or school, 18 months stuck in traffic, 36 months eating and cooking, 27 months showering, brushing your teeth, and in the bathroom. How much is left? About 279 free months, and out of those 279, easily 100 months will be spent just deciding what to watch on Netflix or watching tutorials for things you'll never actually do. What's really left is about 8 hours a day, the hours that are technically yours, to do whatever you want. But then, how many of those hours do you spend mindlessly scrolling through your phone without even noticing? How many do you waste on things that, deep down, add nothing to your life, things you won't even remember? Look, I'm not saying you need to become a Buddhist monk and live in a Zen state 24/7. Life is also about lightness, fun, memes, laughter, even those random cat videos. But here's the catch: are you aware of how you're using the time you have, or are you on autopilot? Because in the end, time won't give you a warning when it's running out. It just runs out. And when you finally realize it, maybe what you're missing isn't time, it's presence. Do you know how much time the average person spends on social media each day? 5 hours? Every single day. Yeah, 5 hours of your life slipping away. Do this right now, seriously. Grab your phone and check how much time you've already spent on it today. See it? Now multiply that by 365. Scary, right? That's almost a master's degree in scrolling through your feed. They say life passes in the blink of an eye. But these days, it's more like a scroll of the thumb. It's not about how much time we have, it's about what we do with it. And yes, work, build, make plans as if you have decades ahead of you, but live each day as if it were your last. Because one day, it will be, and you'll only have memories of the things you truly lived. You know what challenge I want to give you right now? Pick something simple. Something you usually do on autopilot: eating, walking, talking to someone. But this time, do it differently, do it fully present, notice the details. The smell of the food. The sounds of the street. The tone of voice of the person talking to you, because that's where life is, in the in-between moments. In the little things we usually overlook and listen. Life might be short, but it's long enough to be extraordinary if you're fully present in it. When I get that promotion, then I'll be happy. When I buy that house, everything will be perfect. These thoughts are traps that make us postpone happiness, as if life had a pause button we could press until we're ready to live. But life doesn't have an on-off switch. Like it or not, we're alive 100% of the time. Every second that passes is a second we'll never get back. And if we're not aware of that, one day we'll wake up full of regrets for a life we never truly lived. It's only when we face death with honesty that we finally get the chance to understand what really matters in our lives. And that's different for each of us. One of the most important lessons I learned in this whole process came from my mom. Happiness is not a destination, it's the journey. Being happy isn't something we achieve by crossing some imaginary finish line, by obtaining something. Happiness is something we cultivate along the way, in the small, daily choices, in the person we become. So live now. Have lunch with your parents next Saturday. Call that friend just to tell them they matter. Work on your projects simply for the joy of creating them. Be aware that time is a finite resource. Understand the true wealth of the present moment, and you'll elevate your mind forever. Gratitude.